Hey everybody, welcome to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and today, well, Kevin Feige has given us a fair amount to think about recently, but I wanted to pick, well, I'm going to cover probably all the topics on various videos coming up in the next few days, but I want to pick the one that I found kind of the most interesting. When Feige was asked about, okay, when are mutants coming in? Like, when does the mutant era, the mutant saga, the mutant phase begin? He said that it's going to kick off here with Deadpool and Wolverine. So that begs the question, what does that mean? How are they going to bring in the mutants? And I think it's a fairly big question that a lot of us want answered, because maybe the MCU hasn't been going the way that we expected. I've generally liked most of the things that they have done since the end of, well, Infinity War and Endgame. That group there, I think I'd even say that with a capping off movie of Spider-Man Far From Home, which is technically part of that phase. But I know for a lot of people it's maybe been a little bit more lacking. And what they've been waiting for is mutants. And how everything comes together to bring the mutants into the MCU. And that, I think, is a big question. I am very curious to know how retroactively we're going to get mutants into the MCU. And I have one theory, and this one potentially is. Kevin Feige is telling just the straight up truth. It's going to happen within Deadpool and Wolverine. So in Deadpool and Wolverine, we see Cassandra Nova using a sling ring. And her sling ring has two enhanced features to it. Both of them are infinity stones, infinity gems. And it's not just any in particular. It's red for reality and green for time. So, when Kevin Feige says Deadpool and Wolverine kicks it off, I think he means that very literally. I think from that point on, the MCU is going to change fundamentally. History, reality, is going to be rewritten. And it's going to cause a branch, but the branch is going to have happened in the past. This is going to be pretty big, pretty substantial change. And I wonder how it's going to be pulled off. How are they going to be able to say everything's the same in the MCU? So not to confuse viewers, but also everything's different. Now there are mutants. And it might be the use of the Infinity Stones. The Infinity Stones might be at the level of power where it doesn't actually cause a branch. It just rewrites them and slides them into the timeline. Because I think Cassandra Nova, and this might even be with the help of Wolverine and the help of Deadpool, they're going to rewrite the main MCU timeline, and they're going to do it so that mutants started to exist in the past. Obviously, mutants have existed in other universes, but, I mean, this might be how no more, even if it goes back that far. Or maybe it's just that the main MCU has had fewer mutants. But I think using the sling ring and the time stone, Cassandra Nova is going to open up a portal to the past. But with that, you also have the reality stone. And so when she opens up the portal to the past, it's going to rewrite the past as well. There's going to be a change that bleeds into the history of humanity, and that's going to be bringing in the X-Men. Mutants are going to be a thing going forward in the MCU. We know that. We knew that well before. In 2019, Kevin Feige hinted that, yeah, we're going to be getting mutants eventually. Is this what he was thinking? Probably not. Probably not the precise details on it. But I think Deadpool and Wolverine, with a very multiversal film, I think it's going to be a big opportunity. And I will point out with this too, Kevin Feige, believe it, potentially in the same interview, was saying that like Infinity War and Endgame are 9 and 10 respectively in kind of shaping the MCU. Like those are the critical points, and I would reverse them actually. I would say Infinity War is the 10, Endgame is the 9, because Endgame's a little bit more what you expected, I think, for a lot of people. But that's digressing. But he said that Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be an 8. Now, he said an 8 probably because it's not the climactic point of a bigger story. But if it's the point where mutants are dropped in, that certainly is worthy of that 8 in terms of level of importance for the MCU going forward. But let me know what you think. Do you think that we're going to see mutants introduced into the MCU as of Deadpool and Wolverine, or is it going to be something that is brought in later with the likes of Secret Wars, and maybe a soft reboot that way? You can let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this content and want to check out more, we have a bunch of videos, including some recent theories or reactions and breakdowns and thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine, trailers and the like. But also we have a podcast, 10-Minute Marvel. You can find that wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from, including iTunes and Spotify. But with that, we'll see you next time.